Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today I'm going to be talking about should Braxton Swag Pierce be unbanned. Now, back in 2014, iBUYPOWER versus Netcode guys, iBUYPOWER went in through, and 4/5 of the iBUYPOWER squad was banned. That was Swag, Steel, Daze, and AZK. Skadoodle was the only person not banned because he did not receive any income from skins or whatever, so it can't be linked that he actually threw 4 skins or threw or whatever. So overall, a bit of a grey area on that account, but regardless, he was not banned. So with that all out of the way, over the last couple of days, especially due to the CS Summit, there has been a bit of an uprising. The hashtag free swag or the hashtag free Brax hashtag has been going around quite a bit. People really not asking, really petitioning, trying to get a bit of a movement, a bit of an uprising against the Valve in order for him to be unbanned, in order for Braxton Pierce to be unbanned, to be allowed to play in Valve-sponsored events. Now, there's many things wrong with this uprising. Many things wrong. But there's also many things right. I personally think that he should be unbanned. But there's so many things wrong with this uprising that overall, I think it's doing more harm than good. So let's go and break it down. First thing, focusing on one player is not good. Not good at all. They're focusing on simply Swag for 2 reasons. They're focusing on him for 2 reasons. One, because he's been playing really well at the CS Summit. He was just dominating tier 1 players, tier 1 teams, just going so ham, and overall, people want him unbanned. A lot of the time, when they're saying the reasons why he should be unbanned, his skill is one of the main reasons. The fact that he's skilled shouldn't be a factor, because overall, what about the people that are not as skilled as him, like AZK and whatnot? But we'll talk all about that later. So with that said, that's the first reason. The second reason is the fact that he was influenced by Daze and Steel back in the day, and iBUYPOWER owners and whatnot, in order to go and make a quick buck, in order to go and throw overall, get a bit of profit, nobody go and know, whatever. I agree to an extent on that one, but with that said, that's a good reason muddled with 100 other reasons that people have not gone and considered, 100 reasons why he should be banned. Now, overall, the movement is focusing on one player. I said that it's doing more harm than good. Focusing on one player is definitely a very emotional response. Again, people seeing that he's been playing well. People empathizing because he's young. I'm the same age as him. I've made mistakes in my life, so I can go and really sympathize with the fact that he's made mistakes. But of course, I'm not a professional player. I haven't been permanently banned from a game that I, have loved for, so many years of my life. So I can't go and make a complete connection, but I can understand to an extent. But with that said, this whole uprising is a very emotional response to a really intricate and complex argument, and a complex situation that can't just be solved with him being unbanned. Because think of it, the amount of people that have been unbanned has been banned is quite a lot. And the people that have been unbanned is nobody. People saying that, cheaters are being unbanned, that's for ESL. That's different. We're talking about Valve. I don't give a shit about ESL. Well, ESL gives a shit about Valve, obviously, because if ESL missteps, then Valve's going to be a little bit iffy. And so now there's a little bit, a bit of a grey area, a bit of hot water between Valve and ESL, because ESL has gone and unbanned cheaters and whatnot. But that's a completely different argument. We're talking about match fixers and match fixers only. Might talk about cheaters a little bit later on in the video. But match fixers, we've got Dazed, we've got Steel, we've got AZK, we've got Swag, and Epsilon squad. Nobody talks about Epsilon. Why does nobody talk about Epsilon? Because nobody cares about Epsilon. They're not fan favorites. They're not streamers and whatnot. But should people care about Epsilon? Well, if you want Swag unbanned, then you've got to care about Epsilon. You've got to care about AZK. Nobody cares about AZK. Why? Because he's moved on. But regardless, his contribution, to the whole match-fixing scandal, whatever, is equally important to that of Swag or Steel or Daze or Epsilon, whatever. So overall, if you're going to focus on one player, that is the wrong way to go and do it. If you want a resolution, it has to be everybody. Everybody has to be considered. So let's go and consider everybody, not only CSGO, but also Dota 2, because Dota 2 has a very crucial link to this whole match fixing scandal. There's a player called Solo, he threw in 2013 and got banned, and it was a 1-year match fixing ban. Now people were saying, wow, Solo threw one time and he got banned for only a year. Why shouldn't Dazed and whatever and Steel and Swag be only banned for a year? Because people don't know the facts, alright? When Solo got banned, Valve went straight out and said, okay, anybody that match fixes from this point forward shall be banned. But this was directed towards the Dota 2 community. But Valve, they manage multiple games, and obviously, if you're a Counter-Strike Global Offensive player and you heard of this decision that anybody past Solo, if they go and match fix, they will be banned, you would assume, right, that it would apply to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So overall, that whole discussion goes completely out the window in my opinion. Now Valve, should they have gone and said to every community, okay, if you go and match fix, you will be indefinitely banned, to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the Dota, to TF2, all the games they go and manage that have a competitive community? Yes, they should have, but overall, did they? No. But in the end of it, does it really hold any ground to the situation that they didn't? Not really. The fact that they didn't go and notify the community doesn't really have any weighing in on the situation, because the fact that players still knew that match fixing was bad, a precedent was established, and from there, Valve went through with their precedent. But saying that the way that Valve handled the situation is completely inappropriate. The throw happened on August the 20th, 2014, and a final decision was made on January the 26th, 2015. That is a very, 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 very long time. And overall, the fact that Valve took so long in order to go make a decision is completely inappropriate. The fact that these pro players, their careers were on the line and in limbo for such a long time, and Valve didn't just immediately execute what they had promised they would go and do. If they were responsible, they would have just said, okay, you match fix, you're banned. And it should have been clear cut. It shouldn't have been this long process of delaying. As soon as there was enough information, it should have just been a very, very quick process. But saying that, information does take a long time to compile. You would expect it to take, a few months. But the fact it was from August 20th, 2014, all the way to January 26th, 2015, that is a long, long time. Now, the next thing I want to go and talk about is the people that are saying that the lifetime ban is too harsh. Now, I do agree that the lifetime ban is too harsh, but again, people are not, considering the whole situation. If Valve goes and lifetime bans a variety of different players, from different regions, whatever, but keeps the whole decision neutral, right? If you match fix, you're banned permanently, like they did the iBUYPOWER, like they did the Epsilon. Everything is a-okay. The esports ecosystem is intact. Even though teams will drop out, even though players, their careers will be ruined, whatever. Overall, the ecosystem goes and stays. Valve not only has security that their leagues and their game will, still survive, sponsors will have security that overall, even though a team has been banned, they can simply just go and leave that team, just distance themselves from the, the banned team, whatever, and then go to another team, whatever. So overall, the fact that these are hard-cut decisions is really, really good overall for the ecosystem. Now think of it if Valve went and just unbanned Epsilon and iBUYPOWER tomorrow. Think of the chaos that would go and happen. Now it wouldn't be immediate chaos, obviously, but there would be uncertainty, there would be insecurity in the ecosystem of Counter-Strike Global Offensive esports, and even Dota esports. Overall, any Valve managed game would have insecurity. Think of it this way, a player would now have the inkling in the back of their mind, I could go and match fix this online game that nobody really cares about. 2017, there's a lot more security in terms of covering up details of match fixing. There's a ton of shady betting sites or whatever. There's even normal betting sites. For example, like Sportsbet in Australia, where you can just go and bet real life money. You don't have to go and bet skins, and thus you don't have to go and link them to your Steam account. You can just link them to a random PayPal account, and there's some, grey sites where you don't have to go and give ID in order to get your money back or whatever. Overall, there has been this very visible barrier where players are thinking, okay, if I go and match fix, there is 100% certainty that if I get caught, I will go and get banned. Now, people, of course, are match fixing in 2016, 2017, whatever. There obviously has been cases of match fixing, but they haven't been proved. But they could potentially be proved. But saying that, more people would match fix if there is the possibility of them being unbanned after, a few years. Now that there is a ton more money in the, the ecosystem of Counter-Strike Global Offensive esports, they could potentially put on a mad bet. You could go and make some big money. And then overall, the whole system would go in collapse. People would have, insecurity with Valve. Sponsors would have insecurity with teams. They wouldn't know if they would be match fixing or not match fixing, especially for tier 2 and tier 3 teams, especially in these lower teams where match fixing, admittedly is rife. With that said, the temptation would be even more. So overall, the fact that Valve made this clear-cut decision, it is harsh, but it keeps everything stable. And thus, this is the one thing where people have to really understand that the possibility of them getting unbanned is extremely unlikely for this reason, and mainly for this reason alone. The fact that if they do get unbanned, it's going to be saying, okay, you can only suffer a 3-year ban. What's 3 years? Especially if you're like a 16, 15-year-old player, whatever. If you're especially very, very good, you just come back at, 19, 20, whatever, and you just play out the rest of your career. Again, people don't consider this factor, this really, really important factor. It's probably more important than everything, all the other reasons people going and talking about. This is probably the most important reason why Valve has gone and kept to their decision. And I think it's the main reason why Swag and Dazed and Epsilon, whatever, haven't been unbanned. I'm pretty sure that Valve does agree that their lifetime ban is too harsh, but what can they go and do? Their hands are basically tied. They have gone and tied their own hands around their back for good reason, as I've gone and talked about just before. The next thing people are saying is that, okay, if the iBUYPOWER squad is unbanned, then they have to be under intense scrutiny. If they go and play with, each other on the team, whatever, they're going to be instantly banned. If they go and slip up, they're going to be instantly banned. They can't go and advertise betting sponsors and all that type of shit, and they can't go and do X and Y, and they have to go and pull out public service announcements each year and whatever. And overall, on the surface, it sounds good, but delve deep and it makes absolutely no sense because, again, Epsilon, they are not being considered. If you want to go and get Swag unbanned, you have to get Steel and Dazed unbanned and AZK. And if you want the iBUYPOWER squad unbanned, you have to get Epsilon. Everything comes in a big package. You just can't go and unban one player. But can you? That's the next question. Can you just unban one player? And I think there is a very slight possibility that just Swag could be unbanned. But everybody else, I think they are royally fucked. I think Dazed, I think Steel, I think AZK. I don't think AZK really cares, but regardless, the Epsilon guys, they are screwed. I don't think there's any hope for those players to ever be unbanned within their life. I don't think there's any hope. Because again, Valve wants to go and keep that appearance up. They want to keep, that bad guy appearance up. Not that bad guy, that really tough guy appearance up. Keep the ecosystem intact. But for Swag, the one reason why he could be unbanned is what I talked about at the very start, that he was young, he was 17, he made a mistake, he was influenced, and that could potentially be the one reason that he does go and get unbanned. A lot of people countering this by saying, okay, even though Swag was 17, he's only 1 year off being an adult, he can go and make up his own decisions, but people don't go and consider the effect of the owners. They don't go and consider the effect of Dazed and Steel and all the other people that were, really in this match-fixing scandal. Their influence is probably greater than his actual own decision-making. They just basically overwhelmed them. That's what I think, at least. They basically overwhelmed them, because I've had decisions in the past where people have gone and said, okay, go and do this, go and do that, go and do that. And even though I didn't particularly agree with it, the fact that they were a lot older than me, actually around the age of Dazed and Steel and, AZK and whatnot, I went along with it, and I regret that, but regardless. But the thing is, Valve is putting their own neck on the line. They're putting their neck on the line for one player. And again, what about if another player comes around and they're like 15, 16, and they go and match fix, and it's a complete mess. It's a complete mess. There's so many loopholes. There's so many maybes. There's so many what ifs and what ifs and what ifs. So overall, if Valve did it, the only way that this could actually occur is if Valve went and said, okay, Swag is being unbanned because he was being influenced by the higher-uppers in the team, by the team owners, whatever. And with that said, we're going to go and allow him to play due to the fact he was influenced, whatever. So with that said, we're going to go and put him under a ton of different restrictions. And then they have to go in and say that any other player that is caught match fixing will be permanently banned. And I have to go and say there will be no ifs, maybes, or whatever. That's the only way. That's the only way I could potentially see it. But again, that goes and pulls up so much community discussion, so much community debate. Is it even worth it? Is it worth it to go and destabilize what they have right now? Because yes, people are talking, but it's not going anywhere. Nothing's going and changing. Nothing's shaking. Nobody's revolting. It's just a bit of a movement, a bit of discussion. And that's, I think, all Valve really wants to keep it to. So in the end of it, I don't know. I would love these players to be unbanned. I've been playing this game for so long. I've been watching these players for so long, but I don't know. It's a really a grey area, and it's something that I think Valve are considering to an extent, but it's something that I don't think they will actually go and do. It's just simply too difficult, too many loopholes, too many maybes, too many what ifs, and in the end of it, it's not worth it when they can go and put all their resources into bettering the game rather than going and putting out spot fires, which will inevitably go and occur if they go and unban Swag. Now, one thing I want to go and point out for this commentary that I haven't gone and talked about is the possibility of an appeals process. The reason why is because Richard Lewis went and talked about in his video, now saying that I only watched the last 4 minutes in between homework break, so I actually haven't seen the whole video, and I'll probably go and watch it a little bit later on. But to be honest, I think it's actually good that I haven't gone and seen it before recording this video, because I can go and bring across my own opinions rather than going and having a big basis of somebody else's and just regurgitating the same information. But with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this commentary. If you did, make sure to go and hit that like button, just slightly hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. I love doing long form content like this, long commentaries about certain topics in the community and whatnot. If you guys enjoy it, make sure to go and tell me in the comment section below, because I can definitely go and do more stuff like this with, you know, my rather limited knowledge of the Counter-Strike scene. But regardless, I can still go and pull off, you know, these hypothetical philosophical arguments and topics and whatnot. And again, as I said, hopefully you guys did enjoy it. But other than that, Undercover Dudes all the way from down under, out.